All right guys, so I want to make a video on an update video on my cat pump that I've got for this is my pressure washer that I mainly use for washing vehicles, or actually now I've been using my Sunjoe SPX 9004, which is, well, I've got it in that tub, but it's basically if you don't know, it's a commercial grade electric pressure washer. It's a 2 gallon a minute, and now I've got it running through a 100-foot hose, which will drop your pressure, but I've got right at 1,000 psi working pressure, and you know, it's perfect for washing cars. Although there are situations where I do like to use my gas pressure washer, and so like I said, this is, you know, an update. This is basically about the pump, you know, or, you know, the pressure washer as a whole. What I've got driving it is this Predator 212cc engine, which I believe is 6.5 horsepower, but I'm not for sure. I can't remember. And I think that's the limit for this pump, is 6.5 horsepower. I've seen on my other video where like somebody left a comment, I believe, saying that this pump was for the electric pressure washer, and they do, I believe they do put this same pump on an electric pressure washer, an electric motor, but this one is you can also put it on a gas engine as well. And so this pump puts out 2.5 gallon a minute at it's rated at 2,800 psi, and that's about exactly what you get working psi. So it's one of the things I like about Cat is they don't overrate their pumps, because pretty much everybody else overrates their pumps, both in psi and gallon per minute, mainly psi though. So, you know, for washing cars, you don't have to have 2,800 psi. Like I said, 1,000 working psi is plenty, and it's safe. But you know, if you don't want an electric pressure washer, because in order to run that, you either have to have a generator, or will always have to be able to plug up to, you know, your customer's power. And for me, that's not always an option. Sometimes I detail in parking lots and stuff, so I have to have a generator to run my air compressor and other things. But you know, some people just prefer the gas pressure washers over electric. Now, what I will say is, for the average homeowner, like say that's, you know, gonna pressure wash his driveway and his house, so he wants something he can do that with, this is a good pressure washer for that. I actually wash houses as well as detail, and I've used this both to wash houses and surface cleaning. Now, let me say, if you have a 2-story house with really high peaks, they have what's called a 2nd-story nozzle that'll shoot your water up, but it allows it to draw, it's considered low pressure, it allows it to draw soap at the same time. And so that's how I do it. I have my chemical and soap mixed up, and that's how I wash houses. I don't use high pressure to wash houses. Doing it the low pressure way with chemical is a much better way. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can leave a comment down below and I'll answer it. So yeah, for the average homeowner, and like, I've also used it to do surface cleaning. I don't have my surface cleaner with me, so if you don't know what one looks like, you know, just Google that. But if you've been cleaning your sidewalks or driveways with just a regular gun and nozzle, then this surface cleaner, you know, will change your life, because even a small 12-inch one is, you know, just so much faster and so much easier, especially on your back, than as long as you have a long enough wand. But your average wand's usually long enough for, you know, if you're about 6 foot or less. But so point being is, you know, both for washing cars, you can use this, and doing houses as long as, like I said, you know, 2-story with high peaks. It might not, with this 2.5 gallon a minute, reach all the way up there. I have done 2-story houses with this, but not with really high peaks. I've got another pressure washer that's 4 gallon a minute. That one is what I use for taller houses and other situations. But this build right here, this Predator engine with this cat pump has been doing really good for me. I've had it for a full season now, and it's been doing really good. I really like this cat pump. Now, I did have some issues in the beginning, not with this pump, but with another one, and so I had to swap it out, which is supposed to be a very, very rare thing with cat pumps to have any kind of problem or defect right off the bat. They test all their pumps before they send them out, is what they said. So Cat is just, you know, it's known as being one of the best, if not the best, pressure washer pumps. They do a lot of, you know, industrial and commercial stuff, but they do offer these, you know, residential style pumps, and this one is, you know, like I said, they do put it on an electric motor, which if you wanted to, you could do that. But and there's the model number. Hopefully you can see that good. But you know, you can put it on a gas pressure washer, and this is proof of it. I haven't had any issues with it on this engine. Now, like I said, with this particular pump, you don't want to go bigger than either 6.5 or might be, yeah, I think it's 6.5 horsepower. It says that you need minimum of 5.5, and then go up to 6.5. And I actually did have this on a Honda engine that was a 5.5 horsepower, and it worked, but you could definitely tell it was making that engine work. Whereas this one here, this engine has no problem with this. So, you know, and this engine, you can get this engine on sale for $99, and I just don't think you can beat it. It's a clone of a Honda engine, and so far, from what I can tell and the research that I did, these things are almost as bulletproof, if not as bulletproof, as a Honda engine. Now, you do have to maintain it like anything else. You do need to change the oil, but if you change the oil, depending on how much you use it, but definitely always change the oil at least once a year. You know, preferably at least twice, but you know, twice if you can, but at least once a year. Don't get it, put oil in it, and just use it for years, because it doesn't matter if you only use. And the same goes for the pump. The pump has oil in it. That's the sight glass right there with the red dot on it. You want to keep the oil at half, like right there at that red dot, or lower. You don't want it above that ever. But you, like I said, same with the pump. Oil over time, it just breaks down, and it's not the same. And so, you know, you might only use your pressure washer twice a year, and you know, I know people that have done that. They leave the oil in it. They don't change the oil in it because they think, oh, you know, I only use it a couple times a year, so I'm not putting a lot of hours on it. I promise you, oil breaks down over time. I believe it's Mobil 1 that came out with it's a 20,000 mile, and it's for vehicles, you know, mainly marketed, but 20,000 mile or 1 year. And so you could get some of that oil, and like I said, it's supposed to be good for a year. So then you could do your once a year oil change. Now at 20,000 miles, you know, if you tried to equate that over to hours, I would imagine that'd be several hours. So, you know, maybe even a professional could get away with it. But I like changing my oil more often, so you know, I don't want to spend the extra money for that 1 year oil when I'm going to change it more than once a year. Same goes for the pump. But you know, these pumps, I don't see a lot of videos. I don't think I've seen any other video on this particular pump, but I've looked for, you know, any videos on Cat pumps, and Cat has some on videos on replacing the seals and stuff on some of theirs, not this model pump, but some of their bigger pumps. And these things, you know, I know a lot of people are intimidated by the pumps, but you can replace the basic seals that wear out the, you know, the most. Although one of the things, you know, Cat pumps are supposed to be known for is, other than it saying, you know, the pump with, oh, does it not say it on here? Well, their slogan is the pump with 9 lives, you know, basically saying that you can rebuild it 9 times at least. But they're also known for their parts and their seals being higher quality than their competition on most other, or if not all other pumps. And so they're known for you getting 5 times the life. You know, your seals and everything lasting 5 times longer than pretty much all pumps. And so that's a big reason why I got this. You know, if I'm using it professionally and putting some hours on it, you know, I don't want to have to rebuild a pump every single year. So if, you know, and there's guys that get away, you know, like my bigger pressure washer come with a general pump on it, and in what, 5 years I've had to rebuild it 3 times, I believe, and I've had to replace 2 of the ceramic plungers, and I think the 3rd one is bad. I should have replaced it when I did the other 2, but that's another story. So anyways, if I can get 5 times the life out of this pump, then, you know, it's worth the investment, because it does cost more. But anyhow, that's pretty much it. So y'all leave some comments down below. Until the next time, y'all either be good or be good at it.